This is the Leo Clamaco Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Leo Clamaco Podcast. I'm your host, Leo Clamaco. I'm here today with Alex Miranda. Alex owns an amazing company. He helps entrepreneurs get their lives organized by putting a virtual assistant in their lives. It's an amazing, amazing thing. Alex, thank you so much for being on the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Leo. I wish I had your voice. It's such a good podcast voice.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I've actually heard that before. And, I never thought that I had a good enough voice to speak until I started speaking. And everyone's like, Leo, you have a great podcast voice.
Yeah, you do. Good for you, bro.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. It's Friday. I'm chilling. I ain't got no job.
Yeah.
I ain't got no kids. I'm just
Amen.
kidding. I got. Actually, any second now, we're gonna have our third baby.
Really?
Yeah, she's super pregnant. Like,
Congratulations.
Thank you, bro.
Is it a boy or girl?
Our first girl. So I finally get to be a girl dad.
Congratulations.
Yeah, man.
That's amazing, bro.
Thank you, bro.
That's really cool. So let's get right into it. Tell us a little bit about you, who you are, and how you got started.
Yeah. Well, Alex Miranda. I went to Cornell University for business and marketing.
Very nice.
And I always knew I was going to be an entrepreneur since fifth grade. How'd
you know that?
A friend and I, we were into BMX bikes, like trick bikes.
Yeah.
And we were in my room and we started drawing bikes. And then I even called the company Skywalker Bikes.
Nice.
And then I even gave us a slogan, new technology on wheels.
Look at that.
What is a fifth grader doing thinking these things? That's something I would come up with today.
Right. That's some real good marketing skills.
So I didn't know that eventually it would turn into, what I started out of college was a branding agency. But I really love the art of entrepreneurship. And when you're a branding agency owner, what are you doing? You're meeting with entrepreneurs all day long, right? Exactly. Helping them launch their business or rebrand. So it's amazing to have a branding agency because you just get to see every type of business out there.
Right.
So for an entrepreneur,
everybody needs branding.
Huh? Yeah.
Everybody needs branding.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I think it was good that I have that as my sort of foundation in my entire entrepreneurial career. My foundation is branding, which is the birth, right? There's the vision, so it's in our head, and then there's bringing the vision to life, which is the branding process. Branding people like me are able to go in and clarify your message so that people listen, like the right target audience listen.
Sure.
And so with that skill set of just being able to pop out a logo and pop out a website, it's a double-edged sword because it means I can launch businesses of my own quickly, which is good and bad.
You can explore a lot, do a lot of exploring, a lot of tinkering.
Yeah. But how I got into the virtual staffing business was that my clients that I would brand, right? So imagine if branding is like a labor and delivery doctor, they'll work with you for 9 months, deliver the baby. You might have a couple meetings afterwards, and then you're off to your pediatrician, right? And the labor and delivery doctor is on to the next delivery.
Right.
Well, I would hand the baby off to my clients, and I'd noticed they would do nothing with it or they would struggle. And one time a client asked me, hey, Alex, I know you're using people in Venezuela because during the branding process, they'd have to work with my account manager, my project manager, my people. And, how are you doing that? They'd ask, I want to do that too. And so, boom, the entrepreneur light goes off inside my head.
So you were already outsourcing for your personal business.
That's it. I've been doing this since 2008.
Wow.
Like this office that I'm in right now was full of graphic designers, like a normal agency, web developer, graphic designer, project manager, account manager, all of us here in this warehouse that I'm in.
That's
And
great.
when someone in 2008 told me that I could be paying, $5-10 an hour for someone, which was costing me here in Miami 20, 25, 30, I'm
Wow.
like, hold on a second. And I don't have to pay
Hold
payroll
up. Wait
taxes.
a minute.
And so from that day forward, I never hired another employee in the United States from
Wow.
2008. So fast forward '08 to 2016, all those years, I eventually switched to be 100% virtual. Like, I'm in this warehouse all alone right now, yet I got 3 companies running. Why? Because I built out virtual teams for each of my companies. And it frees me up to be on podcasts with guys like you and just and keep on thinking of, here's the thing for entrepreneurs to understand. If you're an entrepreneur, your best asset is your ability to vision and get something going,
I
right?
agree.
But managing it and operating it and all that stuff, at least for me, maybe not for others, but at least for me, was such a drag.
For
Oh
me
my
too.
God. I'm so excited to bring a vision to life and a new project, but man, do I get bored fast.
Same.
But I get bored not because the business I came up with is boring. I get bored because it's not my calling.
Right.
It's not my thing to operate the business. So when I
It's
discovered,
very tedious. It's very,
when I
very tedious.
discovered virtual teams, I'm like, okay, I can come up with an idea and put an executive team behind it. Not a virtual assistant. Like,
Right.
I'm beyond virtual assistants. Virtual assistants are like bottom of the barrel, like
Right.
just menial work, like it's like grunt work.
I get it.
No, I'm talking about, like, I got a CEO in Venezuela. I got a CFO. I got executive people, management people. Sure, I have graphic designers, web developers, data people,
Right.
all that, but it's beyond that, man. You can go now, you can build a virtual team. If you're an entrepreneur, you can build a virtual team that can actually bring your entire vision to life, and leave you free, as long as you have the money to pay them for a few months while you get your product up and running and selling.
Right. And these are high quality people, right? They speak English. They went to college in America or Europe.
Yes, sir. And they're on our time zone, because I used to use the
Huge.
Philippines. Like in '08, that's where I started, in the Philippines.
Right.
And
Same.
then
I've done that also.
India, Pakistan for my web development, which, by the way, I still got a few guys out there, but those guys aren't involved in my day-to-day business. They
Right.
do, like, when you're developing a website, you need like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. They do project-based. That's a good way to put it.
Got it.
Project-based work is good out there, great. But when you're talking about positions like account management, project management,
Right. It's a day-to-day thing.
sales, these are people you want in your time zone,
Yeah,
right? You want to be
sure.
able to pick up the phone and call them, and it's not like midnight over there, like it is in the Philippines.
Right.
So Venezuela is on the East Coast time zone, right? So we're only 3 hours from the West, but we're on East Coast time zone. I can call them right now. They're working 9 to 5. They speak English, because in Venezuela, you grow up learning English and Spanish.
I didn't know
So
that.
they're super westernized.
Right.
A lot of Venezuelans travel to Miami. You're from South Florida too, Leo.
For
You know,
sure.
you
Yeah.
probably have a
We
lot of
do.
Venezuelan
They're all
friends.
over the place.
So it's really cool. It's like having them here, except in Venezuela, you can pay a designer $10 an hour, right?
Right.
Whereas, and that's good money over there, right? You're being
Hell
paid
yeah.
more than a teacher. Sometimes even more than a doctor. I've got some of my employees that are making more than their parents, and these
Wow.
guys are like millennials.
That's crazy.
So anyway, it's such a good thing, and you feel like a global citizen too. I'm not trying to paint this as philanthropic. Okay, I
Right,
run a
right.
for-profit business. All right. However, when you can do good, like when you can find a win-win-win, then you take it. And
I agree.
when I'm employing someone in Venezuela, right, and I'm distributing wealth down there, right, they're not part of the regime. That they don't want that.
Right.
Most Venezuelans don't want what's going on.
No, they don't.
So, because some people ask me, "Oh, Venezuela, isn't that?" Then you're like supporting terrorism. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, that's not what's happening down there. All of my employees I
They're
follow
good
on social
people.
media.
These are really good people who are
It's
just looking
normal.
for- yeah.
They just have a messed up government person, but it is what it is, man. He's not interfering with our ability to commerce with people down there.
Right. I got to tell you, my VA, my executive assistant that I have from your agency is phenomenal.
She is.
Her name's
I
Fabiola.
interacted with her for this call.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell her who I am. I mean, I don't.
She knew who you were. She knew who you were.
Okay. Well, a lot of people don't know. A lot of the virtual team members that we have, we don't call them, by the way, we don't call them virtual assistants, Leo. I know you call them that. I'm like training my team to change, because virtual assistant has like a connotation of like.
I agree. They're executive assistant.
We call them, all of them are virtual team members. It is what it is.
Virtual team members. Got
it. And so I don't interact with them. I don't recruit them. I don't train them. They don't know who I am per se, because I have a CEO in Venezuela. So they know him, and that's cool. They don't need to know me, the founder and the owner. They need to know him, because he's the one interacting with them.
That's their boss, right?
That's their boss. Well, you're their boss, right? We just pay them and manage them, which is
right.
There's at some point in the podcast, I do want to talk about the difference between you finding and managing someone on your own, right? You go on Craigslist Mexico or something and you find someone, versus using an in-between company like ours, a staffing agency.
Go for it. Break it down right now.
Yeah. Well, Leo, let's say you have a friend introduces you to someone in Venezuela, and you broker a deal with them and you start working with them, right? Guy named Carlos starts to become your whatever social media manager.
Right.
You're paying Carlos directly, right? You're Zelling him, PayPaling him, however you're going to get money to him. And everything works great. Awesome. And you don't need an in-between company, because your friend found you Carlos, right? It was like a referral from a friend.
Right.
And it's like, bro, that's
used them before or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it just happens to work out. However, here are the issues. Carlos could decide he wants to up and leave and get another job.
Yeah.
Carlos doesn't owe you anything at all. He could just, boom. Carlos may have not been documenting all of his SOPs, right? He's just doing what you tell him to do.
Right.
So you've got nothing. You're pretty much starting over from scratch. And the issue is that now you've got this one-to-one relationship with this guy, and now you got to start all over. Yeah. A virtual staffing agency is different. So first of all, you'll tell us what kind of candidate you need, and we go out and recruit, and we pre-interview, so that we're bringing our clients 3 qualified candidates. Like you were able to interview probably 2 or 3 girls or guys, and you saw videos and resumes and personality tests. Like you didn't get any of that with Carlos, right? Mm-hmm. Carlos was just a friend of a friend who you got connected with. But we brought you qualified people. You picked the person. They start working with you, but this person was trained beforehand to document his or her SOPs. Mm-hmm. So we're a process-based company. So we tell all of our people, look, it's not like your boss wants to fire you, but you got to understand that if your boss tells you he wants you to move to a new position, we don't want you to have to spend a whole entire week documenting your processes. We want this to be like you actually find your replacement, you train your replacement on your SOPs, and then you move to Leo's next big position that he wants you to fulfill, right? Or that person does decide they want to get another job. Like any human being, they could decide to get another job.
For sure.
And
And
so
that leaves you stuck.
so that person can't get their final paycheck until they've found and trained their replacement.
That's amazing.
So working with a virtual staffing agency, although there is a small fee in the middle, it's so convenient for the entrepreneur. You
really
don't have to be doing virtual human resource management.
Right.
We do that. We create the company handbook, the training library, the SOP management. We're looking at her hours and seeing, hey, Leo gets 40 hours. Like everybody gets, a full-time employee, 40
Right.
or part-time 20. But like maybe your hours weren't getting there. So it's either they're not working or Leo's not giving enough work, right? So we call Leo, not your employee. We do. Hey, just so you know, there's like 5 hours there. If some entrepreneurs are like, that's cool, don't worry about it. It's just 5 hours. It really is just 5 hours. It's not a big deal.
Right.
But others are like, okay, 5 hours, then I can, give them another task. So that's what's cool about having a virtual staffing agency versus you going off and trying to build your own virtual team. You become a human resource manager, which at the beginning sounds fun, but after a while, it's a headache.
It really is. And one more thing to your point of why your agency is so much easier is that you don't got to go through PayPal. I've had issues where PayPal was holding my money and they wanted verifications and they wanted this and they wanted that. And it's such a headache and you don't got to go through that. It's so much easier.
Yeah. Your credit card just gets charged every single month, like a normal subscription.
Exactly.
And what's cool, you get to put it under business consulting on your your budget sheet, your P&L.
Your bookkeeping,
Yeah. So anyway, I've been doing this way too long. I'm a huge advocate of wherever you can go virtual, you should. Wherever, even look, I got a case, a charter school here in Hialeah, right? You would think charter school, like you need your employees there, right, at the school,
for sure.
No, even in a charter school, there's a lot of admin work that's robbing the students of time, of human body interaction. Because if that human body is in the office typing up things, doing something, well, then that human body is not at lunch overseeing kids. They're not out in the park, in the field. They're not in the hallways interacting with students.
That's a good point.
So for physical businesses, people that need physical people, admin work on the back end helps all of your employees be more present. Take an insurance company, for example, Leo. There's an insurance company here in Miami Lakes who the insurance broker, the one who's licensed, was so busy, buried in admin work, that he couldn't go and visit his clients.
Wow.
Like no face-to-face, no networking events, because you're like you got to get out your quotes, right? You got your quotes. And I would too. If I'm busy doing quotes, like you ain't gonna catch me going and giving you, cortadito with one of my clients. Meanwhile, cortadito with one of the clients could have led to another big opportunity because his friend was also there and having cigars or cortaditos.
For sure.
What happens when you start bringing on a virtual team is you get to be more present, like here.
Your time frees up. You get to work on your business, not in your business.
Yeah, and get out of the office and be more, available out there to your people. So anyway,
I'm a huge advocate of having a virtual team. Huge.
Good, man.
Love it.
Good. We're putting together right now, Leo. We just got off the meeting. Like no one knows this. No clients know this. We're creating an entire client academy portal on the back end. So every Thursday at 1 p.m., we're going to have these like trainings for our clients on all aspects of building and growing your virtual team,
That's
because
phenomenal.
Leo, you know what you know, right?
Right.
You only know what you know,
For
but
sure.
um, but all of our clients now are going to start to get access to these Zoom calls that are going to take you much deeper into building your virtual team, managing your virtual team, thinking differently about your financial management, thinking differently, building an inside sales agency. That's a huge course that we're coming out with. A
Wow.
lot of companies want to figure out, how can I get an appointment setter, a lead generator, and a closer, right? Well, here's how you do it. You build an inside sales department, right?
Wow.
And this is now you're unstoppable, because you've got someone out there on LinkedIn or wherever your marketplace is generating leads, right? Someone else is setting those appointments, someone else picking up the calls, doing discovery calls, someone
Right.
else might be a closer, or you're the closer. Like it gets nasty when you bring this into sales. It gets really
That's
good.
amazing. I mean, it almost sounds like the possibilities are endless, right? You can just plug and play this to any business in any way, and you can be really, really successful.
Yeah. And as an entrepreneur, if you come up with an idea, I mean, this is super, super duper next level stuff, because you have to have massive trust, like I did. I had 8 years of working with virtual teams. So I had trust
Right.
that year that I started my virtual staffing agency, um, I made a decision, because remember, I had a branding agency. So I couldn't just stop my branding agency to start a virtual staffing
For
agency.
sure.
So I told my partner, I said, we need to hire a CEO as our first hire, right? Most times you're bringing on a virtual team into an existing business. But what about this, Leo?
Mhm.
The next business that you think of, Leo, I want you to call me first and
Okay.
say, hey, Alex, how can I start this business from day one with an executive team that will bring the entire thing to life, and they'll hire the salespeople and the account managers, and they'll build the business for you. And
Wow.
you get to be just the thinker of the idea. Like, call me the next time you think of a great business idea, and I will show you how you can launch the business through a virtual team. We just need to find the competent person in Venezuela with business experience, that's going to be your operator. They're your integrator. They're not another entrepreneur.
Right.
They want to work with an entrepreneur to bring their vision to life.
Right. They're more of an entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur for you.
Yep.
And then boom, you get to launch businesses at the snap of a finger. Like, this is what rich people do.
Amazing.
Rich people hire people from day one. They hire consultants and people, and an operator and an executive right away. Rich people don't, they're not out back there
Right.
cooking meals and doing, no. Rich
They're
people
outsourcing
pay for all of
everything.
that.
For sure. That's amazing. That's really, really cool. I don't think I ever thought about that, you know?
And you don't have to be rich to do it in this case, because the person's in Venezuela. Like, if you tried to hire a CEO in the United States to
Oh my
bring your
God.
vision to life,
Quarter
bro,
mil.
oh my
At
goodness.
least a quarter mil just for a CEO.
So
Crazy.
anyway,
Yeah. No, that's very, very genius. That you can think of an idea, hire the whole team to back you, and let them go. Let them
and let
execute.
them go. And you continue doing what you were doing. Like, I continued my branding agency, because my branding agency was the feeder for them. So
Right.
every company I branded, I turn around, hey, Ignacio, I got a new lead for you.
That was basically your lead
Every brand.
magnet.
So it was just, this works really well, Leo, with complementing businesses, because you're
Right.
just stacking, you're cascading, you're vertically or horizontally integrating, and you're taking one of your businesses to feed into the next one.
I love the idea of what you said of building out a whole inner sales team. That was really, really cool.
Yeah, we're doing it across each of the departments, that you can build a whole account management team.
Wow.
you can create a really, really nice, like if you're in the agency world, you got
Right.
account managers. You can build out a whole creative team. If you're, a podcast, well, I have a personal brand where I coach. I don't coach. I create devotionals for Christian entrepreneurs. They're
Okay.
like business devotionals, business Bible
Very
studies is
cool.
what I call them. But I'll film the content, right? Because I'm the teacher, right? I came
Right.
up with the content.
Right.
But once I'm done filming that content, I've built a team in Venezuela who will then edit that video, chop it up and get my golden nuggets, create all the content for it, now even easier with ChatGPT, and
Seriously.
post the content and deploy it everywhere. So you can build your, for people who have personal brands, you can build an entire virtual team to um, to execute on the content that you create.
Wow, that's crazy. So you can literally build out an entire content media sector of your
Sector.
company.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And guys like Gary Vee are paying, up in New York City, are paying, $100,000 for employees to do this,
Oh, yeah.
70, 80, 90, 100. It gets even crazier. Like Leo, we're so blessed down here in Miami that if you do hire someone in Miami, we're talking about 20, 30 bucks an hour,
Yeah.
but in New York City,
Oh, 60.
the same employee. So
Get it.
so entrepreneurs in New England get even more excited because we don't change our price for the region that you're in. It's
right.
So someone in New York City is seeing my $10 an hour employee, and they're like, "Oh my God, I haven't seen $10 an hour since 1980."
They're loving it.
But people in Miami, you could still get away with $14 an hour at McDonald's, right? Because that's minimum wage here. But in New York City, it's crazy what creatives charge up there. But they have to because they got to pay rent, right? They got to pay rent. They got to live up there. So the cost saving for building virtual teams gets even nastier for companies that are in high income areas.
Man, that's amazing. That really is. So how many companies do you have now?
One of my branding agencies, we do brand management for charter schools. My branding agency, the one that I told you about that I started in 05.
Yeah.
We niched down. I know I've talked to you about that in personally, Leo, about niching down. It used to be that I would work with personal brands or doctors or whatever, lawyers to build their brand, right? Logo, website. But in 2021, I decided that's it, finito. I am going laser focused into the charter school world. So we do brand management for charter schools. But here's the beautiful part, Leo. Pick this up, okay? When you niche down, your ability to build a virtual team skyrockets because when I wasn't niched down, Alex Miranda had to meet with the lawyer to find out what type of law he did, the doctor to find out what kind of doctor are you, the entrepreneur to figure out what kind of business you're trying to launch. I'm pointing at my strategy table because that's where I would meet with them. So I'd have to spend time meeting and getting to know every single one of them on a surface level because you got to learn about them in a matter of weeks and produce a brand in a matter of 90 days. How are you really going to get to know an industry in 90 days?
It's rough.
So, and here's the next part. I was a slave to it because it needed me first. Now, I could have my graphic designer virtually, right? My project manager, my account manager, all of those guys were virtually, but the strategy part, I was a slave to that business. But once I picked one type of client to go after, which was charter schools, guess how many times I had to create the strategy?
Just once.
You
assembly
and now my team executes on it. So I've only had to do everything once.
That's amazing.
One final time. That was my theme in 2021 when I told my partner, I go, I'm going to make this agency run with you. One final time. And in 1 year, I am out.
No
But
mas.
not out like selling,
Right.
out in the sense that I'm not creating anything. Because when you're in the charter school world, after one full cycle of a year, you already know everything, right? You know
For
the whole
sure.
entire thing. So at this point now, I show up for my level 10 meetings on Tuesdays at 11:30. And if I do get an idea for a charter school or something, I'll actually email that to the Trello board of our level 10 meetings, and then we'll talk about it on that Tuesday 11:30 meeting. But after that, I'm out. I got lead generating happening for me, project management, graphic design, account management, all that stuff. I am 100% free from it, but only because I was able to niche down. Building a virtual team becomes so amazing when you niche down, because you could put competent people to just press rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So you can build a business that scales.
Right. That's fantastic. There are that many charter schools?
I think we're up to 9,000
What?
in the United States. Yeah. And every year they're popping up. I mean, some closed, but more open. It's getting,
Wow.
yeah, there's a lot, bro. Too many for one company to handle. But yet, I'm the only branding agency in the entire United States that exclusively works with charter schools. There's other agencies that work with schools, but they do
Right.
private schools, they do public schools, they
They're
might
all
do
over the place.
universities, and they think that they're niching. You're not niching because how charter schools operate and run is totally different than a Catholic school.
Right.
It's totally different.
Yeah.
The market, the families, the marketing techniques, the everything, the mindset of the person who runs the school, everything is
that
so
makes total
different.
sense. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Okay, but it might be two high schools still, but the client is different.
Right.
And enrollment's different. Pricing's different. I mean, everything's so different. You can't call yourself a niche when you say, "Oh, we only do educational institutions." That's not enough, bro.
You got to
You
go
gotta like
deeper.
hyper micro niche to
Yeah.
really be able to serve your clients well.
Wow. That's great.
Which takes me to my virtual staffing agency. So I realized back in 2020 that my virtual staffing agency was actually going to get, we were going to enter into some problems because so many people were starting virtual staffing agencies, right? And it was just get really crowded. The market got really crowded. And so
Wow.
I told my team, I said, look, we need to niche down. Like we ourselves need to niche down, right? Because think about this. If I'm a generalist virtual staffing agency, then I'm back at a previous example that one day you're talking to a lawyer, then the next day you're talking to Leo Clamaco, a business consultant. Then the next day you're talking to a construction company that's looking for an estimator in Venezuela. Like everything becomes so different, right?
Right.
Yeah, they all need virtual staff.
For sure.
But the reasons and the positions and the training and the recruitment and the personality type, everything was changing all the time.
Very different.
So I told my partners, we need to niche down. Well, what's the big issue with niching down is that you start the fear comes in. Like, well, but what if we get this call from this person and, now we're limiting ourselves. That's the big limiting ourselves.
Right.
But
right.
So I said, I said, okay, we won't niche down, right? But then a year later, I came up with the idea in which we're in right now. Here's what it is, Leo. So I now partner with entrepreneurs who are in a niche. Okay. Mainly business consultants and coaches. This is kind of who I partner with.
Right.
And I say, okay, what's your niche? Let's just say it's church pastors. Perfect. Awesome. I love it. Why don't we launch churchvirtualteams.com? And you get to be a pastor, coach pastor, right? I'll take care of all the fulfillment. I'll launch the website. I'll do all the everything, but the front of it, the front brand
Right.
and the partnership is with an expert in that industry. The fulfillment of it, the back end, the recruitment, all that stuff, that's just operating on my software, on my machine that I've been building since 2016.
That makes sense.
We're really just talking about a front end solution that to a pastor, if a pastor visited my website, virtuify.com, they would be lost. They'll be like, build virtual teams. They wouldn't even know, like, okay, virtual
What to
teams,
do.
like what to do.
Yeah.
But now if they visit churchvirtualteams.com, it's like, Pastor more, work less. And it's like, oh, whoa, I like that message. And then it's like, a church admin assistant.
Have you actually already done this for a pastor? Because that was a great slogan.
We're doing it for Hispanic churches. Yes,
that's great. Pastor Moore. Wait, what'd you say? Pastor Moore.
Pastor Moore, work less.
Pastor Moore, work less. I like that.
The free
That's
resource.
A bumper sticker.
The free resource that we're giving out is called Delegate to Elevate.
Delegate to Elevate.
So I partnered with. So we launched the Spanish version of it.
Alex, I might steal that one from you. That's good. Delegate to Elevate. I might take that.
But and it goes with church, right? Elevate, blah blah. So when you niche down, you can create resources that speak and have the language of that industry, right?
And language is so important. The right language is so important.
So I launched. So I told you I have a branding agency for charter schools.
Right.
So then, I guess what I did. I launched eduvirtualteam.com, and EDU Virtual Team is a virtual team building solution for charter schools.
Wow.
And so when a charter school comes to my site, they actually know, like, it's pre-positioned, like the positions are already created. I'm not strategizing with the school to see what will work, what won't work.
Right.
No.
You have the
all that work.
Right. You have the blueprint. Here's the blueprint. Yeah.
They come pre-trained on what are charter schools. They come pre-trained in their position. They share templates with each other.
Wow.
Of what's working in the charter schools.
That's great.
Even your recruiting becomes more efficient. Your training, your pre-training becomes more efficient. Everything becomes more efficient when you niche.
You're building a community. It's great. That's really awesome.
Yes, sir. Don't get me excited, bro.
Oh, bro, I want to get you excited. Let's go. Let's get the energy flowing. I love the vibes. It's fantastic. That's really cool. Alex, if you can share one or two nuggets for a struggling entrepreneur that's lost, confused, what would it be?
I would think one of the first things, the first thing is you got to make sure you have a relationship with God. You have to make sure that there is an external force that you can go to and lean on. Because the things of this world will bring us stress. The desires of the entrepreneur's heart will create slavery and discontentment and anxiety and depression. And what a relationship with God will do for entrepreneurs is that it will be a safe haven. For us, especially entrepreneurs, I mean, I'm not saying that people with 9-to-5 jobs don't stress, because they do stress. I'm just saying it feels like there's a different weight. I haven't been a 9-to-5er since 2004, but it feels like the weight on an entrepreneur's back is just a little different.
Oh, it's a lot different.
And so we need a place, a safe haven. We need a place to go for rest And that's what a relationship with God does. You, for whatever amount of time period, you can transport yourself back to your dad's hands, who
That's
wants
beautiful.
nothing but the best for you, and who has a whole book to show you and guide you throughout your entrepreneurial journey, so that when you come to your entrepreneurial journey, your problems don't go away.
Right.
It's just the problems become more manageable.
It's how you handle it. Yeah.
That's that would be my number 1, 2, and 3 piece of advice for entrepreneurs is making sure you have that relationship. If you haven't tapped into it, I have an academy. It's called Godpreneur Academy, and you can go there and start taking devotionals that will start to open up your mind to the possibility of God being your board of directors, on your board of directors, right? You're still the CEO,
For
but
sure.
we're talking about like wisdom here, right? What does a board of directors do? They guide. At the end of the day, the CEO makes the decision to press play.
What's that site again?
Godpreneur. So it's entrepreneur, but God
Got
in
it.
front.
I'm going to put a
right?
link down below.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to put?
No. I got you.
Okay,
On the
cool.
video, I'll put a link down below so people, if they want to go to it, they'll be able to click on it.
Okay. Godpreneuracademy.com. I sent you a little chat there. And so putting God first in your business is an absolute game changer. I started doing it in 2014, and it's my personal development habit. They talk about that in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Any billionaire book, any of the books that you read on the New York Times bestseller will tell you need to have a relationship with God. All of them will say it. Every single one of them will say it.
I agree.
Just read it. All the big dogs talk about it. If you haven't done it yet, do it, because it's such a relief. Anyway,
It's really, once you have that faith and once you believe, it's really good to know that somebody has your back. You know what I mean? That you can trust and rely that if I do my part, God will provide. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful, harmonious thing that it becomes.
Yeah. And it helps us escape from depression and anxiety, which are really the killers here for entrepreneurship.
It's
okay, because a present entrepreneur wouldn't think, oh, let me close my business, right? A present entrepreneur is thinking, okay, who do I need to call next, right? Where do I need to go get my money? Like, where's the opportunity? A present entrepreneur will follow his spirit into the next meeting where God has some opportunity for them. But an anxious entrepreneur or a depressed entrepreneur will not see the opportunity. Peace.
Preach.
Out.
Amen.
So a relationship with God lets us escape our depressing thoughts and our anxious thoughts of worry because we have faith, right? And it lets us escape our depressing thoughts because we have been forgiven. Like the past is the past, right? So we can't be depressed because the past is the past. And we can't be anxious because the future is in God's hands. That lets us be present.
In the now, right here.
Right here, right now. And that's what
I love that.
That's what a relationship with God, that what I just preached there took me years to uncover. So like a relationship with God is like entrepreneurship. You don't know what you haven't been through yet.
For sure. It's a journey.
Yeah. So now I still learn lessons as an entrepreneur because
every day,
even though I'm 20 years into this experience of this journey of entrepreneurship, I'm still learning lessons.
Oh yeah. It's like being a parent, right? You never stop learning with your kids.
Yeah. And that's straight from the Bible. God doesn't want us to just like become lazy and complacent and stop learning. No, we're always to be seeking wisdom, always seeking wisdom. And it keeps us present and able to serve others at our maximum capacity. Entrepreneurs, if your true goal is to serve the marketplace, let's be real with each other. If your true goal was to serve the marketplace, then your commitment and devotion to your client base will be elevated and expanded by God. God will give you a calling, and He will put
Indefinitely.
that on you, and you will and to serve like He would serve. But if you're in this for the money, you're serving the wrong God, and it will disappoint you, and you won't survive the entrepreneur roller coaster. You'll quit and you'll go get another job because you've made God your money, money your God.
Right. Let me ask you
And
a
so,
question.
yeah,
Are you a pastor?
well, I am not a pastor.
Because you're very good.
This is what since 2014, I've been building devotionals for Christian entrepreneurs.
That's
Um,
beautiful. Your
so
words are very powerful.
Thank you, brother. They're all, I've been studying this stuff. I study it every day. Today, this morning, I'm in Luke chapter 10, where Martha and Mary are meeting with Jesus. And I'm writing a whole devotional series about that encounter and uh, how our path as entrepreneurs requires us to keep our eyes focused on Jesus. That if every single morning we are coming to our God with hey, I'm here, I'm present, I'm grateful for you. What is it you want me to do today? What is it you want me to learn? What happens is that the rest of our day has this glow to it. It has this unknown X factor, right? It's no longer just
Right.
me. It's me and the Holy Ghost. So it's two of us. It's three or four of us. We need to be in that. We need to stop making excuses that we need to go to the office and put out a fire and maybe I'll do my personal development later on at night. No, there's nothing more important than for all of us every morning to wake up and spend time with God. Then,
And
then you go to the gym and you work on your physical body because the physical body is what houses that very relationship that you just developed. So now you've developed the relationship, you've developed the body that's housing that relationship. Now who's ready to go to war for the day?
let's get it. You are fully energized and ready for war. I love it. That's beautiful. That leads me to my next question, which I have an idea of where you're gonna go with it. But what is your big dream? What is Alex's big dream?
There's have you ever been to Disney?
I have.
So in Disney World, there's a residential community called Golden Oaks.
I've heard of it.
These are like $10 million plus houses,
Yes.
but they're in the bubble. They're like, it's not like
Yep.
you travel outside of the welcome to Disney sign, like see you real soon. No, you're in the bubble. And so I saw one on whatever, Zillow, I don't know what. It's like 12 million bucks, a little, it's got a pool. And bro, I want to live there for the rest of my life.
That's
And I never
awesome.
want to leave that bubble. And if people want to come visit me, then just come to the most magical place on earth, and I'll meet you, at the Starbucks on Main Street.
Bro, that's
Um,
one of the greatest dreams I've ever heard. That's so cool.
I am such a Disney adult. I can go without my kids and have the best time ever.
That's awesome.
But it's better with family. It's so cool. But yeah, that's my ultimate dream. I wouldn't say it's my desire because I only desire to be in communion with God. But what do I aspire or want is to retire in that home in the Disney bubble. And
And I have no doubt that you will.
thank you, brother.
I have no doubt.
Thank you, brother.
You're gonna invite me one day to that house. I know it.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good.
It'd be so good.
But yeah, I think professionally, though, that's a just a personal goal.
Right.
But professionally, the idea is to move into motivational speaking, and just do this. Come up, dedicate my life to the Godpreneur Academy, and just keep on coming up with devotionals, and be a speaker at conferences, and talking about how to put God first in your business. That's really what I know is what God's preparing me for since 2014.
Wow.
And so that day will come. I call it my Tony Robbins move. I've never been to a Tony Robbins conference or a John Maxwell conference or any of these guys' conferences. However, I know that that's the path that the Lord has for me, and I am 100,000% so patient to get there.
Do you want to go to a John Maxwell conference? So you're talking to a certified John Maxwell leadership coach.
Really?
Really?
You are?
I am.
I've never gone. The desire, the want to go has really nothing. I've never wanted to. I wouldn't say no to it.
So
but
he's
I've never
hosting.
sought it out.
He's hosting the next one in Orlando in March.
Ooh, Orlando! Say no more.
Orlando. It's about 3,000 people. I just went to it. Yes, I will 100% be there. I just went to the last one. It was 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
It was amazing. I took a photo with John. I got to meet him. He signed my book. It was phenomenal.
Love it.
It was really
love
dope.
it.
Yeah,
I've never been, but I've never been to a Tony Robbins one either. I hear the energy is amazing. I hear things are awesome. So
I haven't done Tony either. That's on my bucket list.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down to do it. But yeah, that's the answer is
I'll keep you posted. I'll get you more info on it.
Oh yeah. Thank you, man. But I'm definitely heading in that direction in my life. I know that's what this is all a big setup for that.
I see it. I really do. I see that path for you. That's beautiful.
Little by little.
For sure.
You can fabricate it, but you can also ease into it. I'm just choosing to ease into that life. I've got 60,000 followers on my Instagram, 1,000 on my YouTube channel. This is for Christian entrepreneurs. And I've got 50 plus courses on Bible studies on that Godpreneur Academy. I got 762 blog articles on my blog, Daily Godpreneur. So I know this is my journey and my path.
You're just layering the foundations.
Right now, what I was telling someone texted me this morning, like, "Oh, Alex, have you ever thought about having a Godpreneur conference, right? A conference for Christian entrepreneurs?"
Yeah.
And I replied, I'm like, "Yes, I have. And that time of my life and that season will come, just not today, because," and this is what I told her, because Godpreneur Academy, Daily Godpreneur, that's a personal development tool for me. You see, those Bible studies were made for me first.
And you just happen to share them.
I'm just sharing them with you guys.
Right.
But they were for me. I was going through a struggle. I needed to get out of it. The Lord helped me out of it. I simply shared how, and I turn it into a teaching. And by the way, when you turn your own personal development into a teaching, you learn it even more.
For sure.
And
you incorporate it even more. Yeah.
So I learned that hack back in 2014-ish, 2015-ish. I'm like, hold on a second. If I just learn this and then I teach it, I'm actually like, you're actually super gluing yourself to the concept, because you actually have to live what you just taught. See, if not, then you're not with integrity. Then you're just teaching you're just out of, you're in, ingenuine, whatever
Yes.
that word is.
Yes.
So when you teach it, you're actually now holding yourself accountable to it. So it's a good personal development hack of whatever you just learned that morning,
Go
get on
teach
your
it.
Instagram and teach it. And now you just bound yourself to it, because if you don't do what you just said on Instagram, someone's going to call you out on it.
For sure. In today's day and age, 100%.
Yeah, man.
Alex, tell everybody where they can find you. What's your IG? What are all your websites? Where can they reach out to you?
I had to create alexmiranda22.com because I do have the multiple businesses. So I'm like, look, just go to alexmiranda22.com. I'll link you to my agency and the virtual staffing agency and the Godpreneur Academy, and tell you a little bit about me. I don't do coaching. I don't do consulting.
Not
Personal
yet.
development
Not yet.
consulting.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Coming soon.
Coming soon. But you know what's cool, Leo, is that the Godpreneur Academy, because they are courses that I teach, like devotionals, and it's like videos of me.
Right.
It's kind of like working with me. I'm just being more efficient with my time.
For sure.
So not that I don't want to help entrepreneurs, personally develop.
I mean, technically you are.
I am. I'm just not doing it one-to-one.
Right.
I'm doing it one-to-many.
There are many ways to skin a cat.
That's it. So, alexmiranda22.com.
Phenomenal. Alex, I want to thank you so much for being a part of the Leo Climaco podcast today. You have shared so many gems. I love your passion. I love your faith. And I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate you.